Hello and welcome back to What's Next. When you look at the current upheaval in Europe's auto industry, it might be tempting to believe that the US is immune to such changes. Recent protective measures such as 100% tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles and proposed software restrictions that will effectively bar these cars from being sold in America might seem like the solution. Many may breathe a sigh of relief, thinking that this would keep Chinese automakers from establishing a foothold in the US market. But these are protectionist approaches at best, a temporary fix. Even the auto industry itself seems to understand this reality. The smarter players in the market realize that while these measures buy time, they don't solve the underlying problems. This is especially true when considering the significant technological advantages that Chinese automakers currently enjoy. Today's Critical Materials Roundup delves into these issues and touches on other important developments, such as Hyundai's stumbling efforts to sell cars through Amazon and a reminder that Chinese automotive sector, despite its strength, has its vulnerabilities. The U.S. government's aggressive moves. This week, the U.S. government took one of its most decisive steps yet to block Chinese automakers from flooding the domestic market. Officially, these upcoming bans are motivated by concerns over national security, focusing on preventing high-tech camera-equipped and internet-connected vehicles from gathering data or potentially spying on U.S. citizens. While the U.S. Department of Commerce has framed these moves as separate from other ongoing anti-China policy initiatives, like the previous tariffs, the underlying intent is clear. The broader strategy is about buying time for U.S. automakers and even foreign automakers with a significant presence in the U.S. to build cars capable of competing with Chinese electric vehicles. Currently, the U.S. automakers are far behind in several critical areas, and these protectionist measures are an attempt to give them a fighting chance. China's lead: batteries and software. China has established itself as a dominant force in two essential areas of the electric vehicle market: batteries and software. The Chinese lead in batteries is particularly stark, largely because, for decades, countries like the US chose to outsource much of their battery production to China. At the same time, China worked diligently to corner the market on the entire battery supply chain, from raw material extraction to battery production. The strategic oversight has had significant consequences. One of the main reasons US-made electric vehicles are struggling financially is because domestic automakers don't own key parts of the battery supply chain. As a result, battery costs are not just high, but almost entirely out of the control of American manufacturers. China's lead in automotive software is equally significant. Chinese automakers have fully embraced the concept of the software-defined vehicle, a strategy pioneered by Tesla, where software plays a central role in the car's operation and user experience. As vehicles become more connected and reliant on technology, the ability to design and control this software has become a major competitive advantage. Couple China's dominance in batteries and software with extremely low labor costs, thanks in part to its questionable labor practices, and it becomes clear why Chinese EVs not only outperform US vehicles, but also offer them at a significantly lower price. This combination makes it difficult for American automakers to compete, even before Chinese cars start arriving on US shores. Protectionist measures as a temporary fix. For now, these tariffs and software bans might keep Chinese automakers out of the US market, but in reality, they merely delay the inevitable. By shutting China out for a few years, these measures give US automakers time to catch up, both in terms of supply chain development and technical expertise. But the critical question is whether they can truly bridge the gap in time. Rebuilding a domestic battery supply chain from scratch is no small feat. It requires massive investments in mining, processing, and production facilities, all of which take time to establish. Even if US automakers can start producing their own batteries, there's still the issue of competing with China's economies of scale, which will make it difficult to produce batteries at a comparable cost. On the software front, US automakers also face an uphill battle. The industry has traditionally lagged behind in software development, and catching up will require a complete rethinking of how vehicles are designed and built. While some US automakers are investing heavily in their software capabilities, the question remains whether they can move fast enough to close the gap with their Chinese counterparts. Hyundai's Amazon sales plan hits a roadblock. In other auto industry news, Hyundai's ambitious plan to sell cars directly to consumers via Amazon seems to have stalled. The initiative, which was first announced at the 2022 Los Angeles Auto Show, has yet to move beyond a limited pilot program that's only available to Amazon employees. More than a year later, there has been little progress in rolling out the program to a wider audience. Mike Stanton, CEO of the National Automotive Dealers Association, shed some light on the situation during a panel discussion at the recent Automotive News Congress event. He noted that auto dealers are increasingly frustrated with the lack of movement on the Amazon partnership. One of the key issues appears to be that the program still doesn't allow dealers to handle crucial aspects of the car buying process, such as dealing with multiple banks for financing or managing trade-ins. Stanton also hinted at other underlying issues: dealer resistance. Many dealers see online car sales as a potential threat to their business, fearing that it could lead to the eventual elimination of dealerships from the sales process. While that would require significant legal changes, given that franchise laws protect dealers in many states, it won't be a major concern for those in the industry. For Hyundai, the motivation behind the automotive partnership seems clear. The automaker has developed a lineup of world-class electric vehicles, but its U.S. dealer network has a less than stellar reputation. Many prospective buyers of Hyundai's Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6 models have reported frustrating experiences at dealerships, and it's likely that Hyundai sees online sales as a way to sidestep these issues. However, it's clear that both sides still have a lot to work out and do before the program can move beyond the pilot stage. China's auto industry isn't invincible. While China may currently have a significant lead in the global automotive market, it's important to remember that the country's industry isn't without its own challenges. After decades of explosive growth, China's economy is beginning to slow, and the effects are being felt in the automotive sector. Chinese car dealerships are struggling, with losses of nearly $20 billion in the first 8 months of 2024 alone. According to China Automobile Dealers Association, this is due to a combination of factors, including a sluggish economy and an oversaturated market. While sales of new energy vehicles are still relatively strong, overall car sales in the country are expected to grow by only 4% year-on-year in September. To combat these challenges, dealerships are relying heavily on discounts and promotions to move inventory, but this has only led to further financial strain. The price war among Chinese automakers is contributing to an inventory glut, with vehicles piling up in lots across the country. The path forward for U.S. automakers. So where does this leave the U.S. auto industry? With Chinese automakers temporarily blocked from entering the market, American companies have a window of opportunity to improve their competitiveness. But how should policymakers approach this? One option is to continue investing heavily in domestic battery production. The U.S. needs to build a robust supply chain from raw materials and finished batteries to reduce its reliance on China. This will likely require both public and private investment, as well as partnerships with other countries that can supply the necessary raw materials. On the software side, U.S. automakers need to invest in their digital capabilities, ensuring that their vehicles can compete with Chinese software-defined cars. This might involve collaborations with tech companies or even acquiring smaller firms specializing in automotive software. Finally, there's the issue of labor costs. While the U.S. can't compete with China on cost alone, automakers can focus on producing higher quality vehicles that justify a premium price. To do this, they'll need to innovate in areas like design, safety, and performance, ensuring that their vehicles offer something Chinese cars can't easily replicate. The road ahead won't be easy, but with the right strategies in place, the U.S. auto industry has a fighting chance to reclaim its position as a global leader.